Hello and welcome everybody. It is another GRL podcast, number 51 this time around, and we've not needed another year or so um, to get another episode going. And after we had Triangular Lemon last week around with us, we now have a Division 3 commentator in GRL with us. It's Joe, so welcome to the podcast. It's your first time, and nice to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks. It's actually my first appearance on any podcast ever, really. So very exciting. And yeah, we've got a lot to talk about in Division 3, haven't we? So races are very eventful.
It's been very interesting indeed, especially last week around. It's been
Yes.
a lot of chaos there. But I don't think we had all too many tickets, so apparently the drivers were happy. So that is the main thing. But yeah, let's get started immediately. Most people will probably be interested in this as the Division 3 season is heating up and we've only got 4 races to go. As our commentator, how would you describe the championship battle so far, or generally the races you've watched? How would you describe it?
Very close. It's essentially a battle of consistency and finishing in somewhat of a points-paying position every single round, as in the championship leader, who is the person I'm speaking to, he's only won one race, and even though he's only won one race, he won Singapore, but he hasn't won any other race since then in Division 3, but despite that, he's still leading the championship by 12 points, and although people like Raza Gamer and Lloyd have both won 2 races, Raza Gamer winning back-to-back in the Dutch Grand Prix and the Chinese Grand Prix. Although they've won 2 races each, the fact that they haven't scored in only one race between them two has taken them out the running of the championship, and they're now over 30-40 points behind the front 3, which is quite damning when to kind of know how close the championship is going to be. As Jamie, your teammate, at the moment, and Ferrari's 12 points behind you, so it's, in real life F1 it's a battle of the McLarens, but in Grand Effect Racing League it's a battle of the Ferraris in D3.
Yeah, I mean it was 12. You were right. I've just realised we've not obviously updated the standings yet, so after Austria it's all changed quite a bit. So if everyone that's watching, after we record this, maybe worth going through this. So I'm leading, obviously, with 156 points. Then we've got Jamie still in second. The gap is now 22 points after Austria. Nano in third. He's 35 points off first place. Then we've got Turbo Chris, who's already 52 points back. Lloyd with 55 as gap. And Raza Gamer with 91 points is 65 points behind the lead. So, yeah, it's changed a little bit. I mean, the front runners have kind of remained the same with some good reserves this week as well. Just looking at the current standings, you've obviously not done any commentary before this season, so it will be harder this one, but has there been any big surprise for you just looking at the races you've commented on?
I was very impressed with the kind of comeback story for Raza Gamer in between Australia and the Dutch Grand Prix. You know, at turn 3 at the Nelson Piquet corner, if I'm not mistaken, Raza Gamer got turned round after a very solid qualifying in the top 10. He got turned round at turn 3 and finished 10th, and then the next race he goes and wins it as a kind of a redemption arc, which kind of that's one of the more notable things that I've seen in league racing in general. And also Turbo Chris as well. He's really consistent. I'm surprised that he hasn't won a race yet though. Well, he did win Austria. I'm surprised it took him that many races to win, as he's been on the pace all the season. But I think if he can keep the run of form up and keep attending, he should be higher than 6th from the standings that I'm looking at the moment. So yeah, also Lloyd as well. He's had a bit of a bad run of form, but you know, early part of the season he's had a good run, and also he had a blip in Canada and China where he scored some decent points. So I'm surprised again with Lloyd and his bad run of form, but Nanu as well. He's been kind of, I think the thing that's let Nanu down is his strategy. It didn't work out for him in Australia. As in Australia, he pitted earlier and suffered on the old tyres
I remember that
afterwards.
one. Yeah, he really fell off with those tires because he's leading a couple of seconds at one point.
He was, yeah. Also, I'm surprised that AJ Nolan hasn't gotten any decent results. AJ Nolan, he's reminding me a bit of Andrei Cesarez a little bit. He's very fast, very up there. He's always there in the mix, but he just suffers from the odd mistake or two in the race that just hurts his result and doesn't show on paper the driver that we see on the track. Liam Mack though, very silently is doing a very good job. More leader as well. He was up at like third at one point in the championship. He's now down to seventh after a decent run of form, but not as decent as everyone else ahead of him. But yeah,
Yeah, it's really that gap, isn't it? From like P6 downwards, it's literally a battle best of the rest because we've got the 21 points margin between P6 and P7. We've got the likes of More Leader, Liam, Freedom, and as you said, AJ Nolan. I fully agree. AJ's been in like P5s, P4s, and then he's just had that mistake creep in, which cost him a lot of points. But he's a previous champion in GRL, so I'm sure he'll bounce
yeah,
back at the latest next season. I think it will be good looking at some of the top runners though of Division 3. And now this becomes odd because I'm calling myself with my name. So Atom myself obviously leads the championship, but not due to wins, but rather with consistency. As we've mentioned, I think top 7 in all the races. I can't remember. All finishes, yeah, inside the top 7 it says here. Do you think this is a sustainable strategy to winning a title, or will Atom need to find more pure pace? Because if we look at the last two races, Jamie and Nano have really upped their game, and Turbo Chris is not exactly slow either.
yeah. I think another surprise though. Like go back to the last question, Jerry hasn't won a race. I'm surprised at that, to be honest. As his run of consistency in the between P2 and P, what's that, 6? I'm looking at the points. He's pretty strong in that. That's surprised he hasn't won a race. But if he does start getting more podiums, he's on a run of 2 podiums, 3 podiums now. I think I reckon. So if he
Oh,
can
3 podiums in a row, yeah.
keep that up, I reckon Atom's at risk. But I'll say that again. But yeah, I think Atom he's doing all right at the moment. Also, I'm surprised that Freedom in the 46 isn't higher up in the championship as well. But he's just not got the results on paper, similar to AJ Nolan. But yeah, absolutely matter. I think Turbo Chris as well. I think it's all just going to be a run of who can snag the most points, and every point matters now to the end of the championship. It mattered in Australia round 3, so it definitely matters now. Uh, so yeah, it's gonna be one thing to watch.
I mean, as you said, now with 4 rounds left, the margin for error is now literally zero. Making a mistake will literally ruin your season if you're up there. Which of the remaining tracks on the calendar do you think will favor like consistent drivers like Jamie and myself? And which one will favor rather aggressive pushing drivers like Nano, Lloyd, Raza? I mean, I can read out the calendar. With
Yes, because they'll have it.
delay on it. I've certainly prepared that, and I've not had to look for that one.
Thank you.
So next week we've got Las Vegas, which is going to be great because I'm going to miss that one because every time I think a race, I've crashed. Round 12 we've got Abu Dhabi, and then at the penultimate round we've got Austin, Texas with a sprint weekend, and the title decider is at Brazil Interlagos.
Well, I think, given from what I've seen, I mean, I've only seen 3 races of these grid, but I think Vegas Turbo Chris was one of the best drivers under braking. He was able to brake stupendously late and still make the corner and gained so much time on his rivals on the entries of the corners. So I reckon Vegas and Texas, like the third sector in Texas, he'd do well there. Maybe even Brazil, because that's a very deep braking track. So I reckon Turbo Crush should be good there. Abu Dhabi potentially, maybe in the again middle last sector, same as Brazil, but not don't know if he'll be able to get as much of a advantage out of that braking technique that he did in Austria. As but yeah, I think Jamie as well. Jamie did quite well in Austria, and I think of Vegas as kind of like an Austria slash Baku mixed together, and Jamie did quite well in Austria, helped by his quality. But also Atom as well did kind of go up and down, and then went up like when it mattered, across the line ahead of Jamie, which was a surprise like no other. Just coming out from under the bed and just saying, "Hi, Jamie, I'm taking that position from you." So I think also Nanu. I reckon Nanu could do good as long as he keeps like the consistency up. But it looked like again he was just struggling on tire deck, like normal. Raza Gamer as well. I reckon if he can carry his form over from China and Danville, although I think Raza will do good in Brazil, and I think he will do good in Texas as well. I'm not too sure about Abu Dhabi and Las Vegas though, although I don't know what he's like around there. I don't know what most of these drivers are like around there. But yeah, the Irish Valentino Rossi, meanwhile, Freedom, the number 46. I reckon he's got the most points in the season so far is Belgium with 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think if he's good at Belgium and he's good at China, but again very kind of technical corners, but with long straights, that immediately screams something like Vegas or immediately screams something like Texas. So Freedom, I think we should watch out for the Irish Rossi in that regard. Liam Mack as well. He's had some decent runs. He's got a decent run of form at the moment, picking up points where he can and closing in on the leader. So I reckon he suffered really badly with Ron Lawn in Austria, lap 1, turn 3 in both the sprint and the feature race, just not working out for him and putting him in a really bad position. And before all that rain came in and kicked everything into havoc.
Yeah, that rain
Um,
certainly changed everything around, didn't it? I mean, what was it? I think 3, 4 cars on the Inters, which were a complete gamble at that time.
it looked like the Lone Star Le Mans in 2014 with all the LMP1 cars spearing off at the end of the straight. It reminded me of that a little bit, just like they're all tiptoeing around on thin ice, and it was great. It was great to watch, but thank God I wasn't driving because otherwise that would have been a monumental shunt.
Yeah,
So
it was really tricky because we had Raza was the leading driver on the Inters. He was the first on the pitted for them on the first safety car lap,
yeah,
and Raza's 2 wins came from races where I was leading and then it turned wet. So it's like he knows what he's doing in the wet.
I'm surprised he didn't capitalise in Austria because he was doing quite well. He was leading the pack ahead of Thomas.
Yeah,
Then he had that. Then what? I don't know what happened to
no
him at turn
clue.
3, but he just didn't turn.
He
He
had
just locked up and
he had
went
six
straight on.
wins and he was pushing on these Inters, and I after like a few laps the rear at 111 degrees, so the tire was going through the roof, and he was pushing.
Ah,
I had to tire save, and going into turn
yeah.
3, his rear tire just he got a puncture.
Because I was surprised with how early they pitted. I think it was AJ Nolan who pitted like the latest behind the safety car a lot that pitted
Yeah,
for
it
intermediate.
was.
So I think if anyone was going to benefit, it would have been him. But Thomas then came into the pits in green flag and still capitalised.
Yeah,
So
they could
yeah,
gap us, I think, enough to really capitalize because then Thomas with like 3 laps to go. He
yeah,
said to me, "It's like just go. I don't want to race you." Um,
mhm,
because it was obvious that he was quicker there, but
yeah,
it was obvious that if it really comes down at the end, the slick runners will really struggle. So
yeah.
that's the main aim for all the wet runners or the inter runners. I mean, it was weird because, as you said, AJ Nolan had the best tires. I think something has happened to him. FIFA
He
Lot
just didn't really have the same
recently,
pace, did he? He
yeah,
just struggled in traffic.
I don't know what his game attack now is. Chase Lynn or FIFA Lot just pitted again for dries, which was a complete like dumb move kind of because you've got to stay out there. Yeah, Raz at the punctures. Yeah, it weren't too many wet runners left, but yeah, it was certainly very very interesting.
Yeah, I think Thomas as well. He's going to cause such a headache to the top, like to the top 10 and top 11 in the championship now, because he doesn't have a championship to fight for. He doesn't have to worry. He's just racing for wins and stats and things like
Yeah,
that. He's going to be such a headache to people like Atom itself, like Jammy, like Nanu, like anyone. To be honest, he gave Turbo Chris a massive headache in the sprint, which Turbo Chris somehow fought through and but then he got swallowed up by the Alpines at the end of the main race, which kind of reversed the sprint, and then the Ferraris came in. And also, the funny thing about Austria as well is that it was just team after it was like 1 minute the constructor championship. It looked like it was going to go swing the way of loads of teams. It was going Alpine's way, then they got pulled into the pits and lost track position. Then it was going Williams' way, then they made some mistakes, and it was going Sauber's way, and then they both went down the order. And then it went Ferrari's way right at the end, and then it also went Alpine's way as well.
yeah. When we
But it
crossed the
was
line there on that last lap, I generally had no clue which position I was in. I was like, it's just gonna go past everyone who's sliding off the road, and I was like, second, how? I was like, and then Jamie was also third, obviously. So yeah, that was. But as you say, I mean, Thomas has been so quick all the races he's attended. He's had a bit of bad luck in Singapore where there was some desync. The first race in Austria won on track, but there were penalties, and now he's really got a race win under his belt. So I very much agree that he's gonna worry some of the other drivers when it comes to winning, because obviously if you win, that's the biggest points margin to the next position. And there we have it. So thank you, Joe, for being here with us, giving us your insights on GRL Division 3 for the last few races of the season. And we really hope to have a close championship fight from Vegas onwards here, across Abu Dhabi, Kota with the sprint, and Brazil. And yeah, we'll see you all very soon for another Division 3 race. And until then, see you soon.